2, sweet! Get it.
Hi, welcome to JD Sports. I'm Jarrett Hunt. That's Dwight Garfield. Our Twitter is @_JD Sports. You can find our personal Twitters there. Find us on Facebook, and then you can find the links and all that on YouTube and whatnot. We're gonna jump right into it. Dwight, we took a week off because of the holiday. Things our schedule ended up not working out the way we planned it. Mostly my fault, but
Holiday,
yeah,
that's what it is.
but it would have been nice to get a show in. But anyways, moving on. Jumping right into it, the biggest news coming from this week is probably New England and Denver.
Definitely.
Denver getting the overtime win, the comeback win in the snow. It was fun. It was Brock Osweiler over Tom Brady, which is very interesting. But a lot of injuries going on now. Before we really start talking about the injuries and the teams here and there, what do you think was the reason? Who do you think this was more of a Denver win or a New England loss?
I would say it's probably more of a New England loss. I really don't buy into Osweiler.
Who do you think the better team is? Skilled wise, you'd have to say probably Denver, right? Because on the outside,
Probably Denver, but
their offensive line isn't horrible, but it's not great. But on the outside, with the wide receivers, the running backs aren't that bad. If you get Brock Osweiler, the 2 games that he started, their running game has rushed over 150 yards both games.
That's the thing, is that all of a sudden Denver has a run game. A lot of people are saying that it's because Peyton isn't in it.
It's the system.
Because Peyton isn't in, he's not doing the shot anymore.
Peyton runs a different kind of system.
Right, and that's why a lot of people are saying now that's opening up the run, that you have Osweiler out there. It's helping establish a run, which
and how good they are on the outside. Plus, their defense is very talented and can contain anybody. Even how good the Patriots played, and at times they looked really, really well. But overall, they were shut down. Sometimes 3 and out back to back. It was different to see, but that's the injuries I think taking a toll. I think it was more of
there's a lot of those.
See, and also this is New England's defense maybe going to prevent or something like that. I'm not really sure about the scheme and whatnot, but definitely I think that New England's offense, they had the comfortable lead. They were just trying to chew the clock down. They kind of and then when they had to try to kickstart it again, there was a little more snow on the ground. It's a little later, you're a little colder, and you don't feel like hitting somebody as hard as you did in the first quarter. And I mean, it just happens. And here you are now late in the third. Game's almost a game. Middle of the fourth, game's about to be a game. End of the fourth, you're going to overtime. And it's like, whoa. And it was over like that.
Honestly, it should have even gotten to that point. New England should have rolled with the victory, honestly.
But they didn't even look like they wanted to be in the overtime. Once it got there, it was done. It was done. It was the writing was on the wall. The perfect season was over.
We said before that they weren't gonna go perfect, and
That's tough.
It is what it is. I don't read into this whole Peyton Manning versus Osweiler. I don't read into that whatsoever.
Yeah, well, who would you take right now?
Right now, today, I'm still taking Peyton Manning.
On the Broncos?
Yes.
See,
because of the fact that he did score. He did play lights out, I should say. He did throw up like 300 yards. Granted, it was snowing, blah, blah, blah. But he did play so well that I'm saying, you know what? No, he's the man. Go with him. I'm still, at the end of the day, Peyton Manning is my starting quarterback, and I'm just going to have to roll with him. He's going to have to pull himself out. I'm not putting it in the hands of this backup. I'm not putting it in the hands of the future. The future is next year, maybe 2 years from now, but the future is right now.
They were undefeated, and I think the overreaction about the Broncos offense and Peyton and all that was real, but I do think that the speculation about how he couldn't throw over the 15, 20 yards was also had something to it. He runs the scheme really well, and he might be better served as a coach right now. I think if I was 15 to maybe even 20, and that's just 2 numbers off the top of my head, teams in the NFL, I would probably take Peyton over my starting quarterback right now. I'm not really 100% sure. At least 15 teams, though, I would think I would take Peyton as my starting quarterback. I think right now the Denver Broncos, the way Brock Osweiler is playing, they wouldn't be one of those 15 teams. I think keep Brock Osweiler in. And I'm usually not on that side, but at the end of the day, it's not like basketball where the Kobe situation, and we'll get into that later, but where, he can kind of ride out the storm, and it matters if they win or lose, but it doesn't matter if they win or lose.
Right.
And so, at the end of the day, it's one of those things where it matters if the Broncos win or lose. You can't just ride out Peyton because he's that guy, because he's Peyton because of his aura. He wants to play next year. I think a team will give him a chance. I'm not really sure what team. Maybe if Houston doesn't get their guy in the draft, or maybe if Houston does get their guy in the draft and they want to bring somebody in for 1 year. Bill O'Brien's a really great quarterback coach. Obviously, what he did with Brady, and then he was the offense coordinator for a while, and he did wonders at Penn State with all the recruiting things going on that was going on there and whatnot. So. And then look at what he's doing right now with what, Brian Hoyer as his quarterback. He has them in playoff contention. So I'm saying like a team like Houston, but outside of that, I would have to really sit down and look at it to pick a team. But what I'm saying is, back to the original point, if I'm Denver, I'm keeping Osweiler in because the amount of points that he scored, the amount of points that they've scored.
Yeah, but that was more so issue with that was more so what the running game was able to do. I don't think it was so much him. And
but he put up numbers. He had 395 in one game and 365 in the other game or something like that.
Okay, that's cool, but here's the thing. What happens when he comes... Let's say, okay, the next game is against San Diego. What happens if he comes out... Listen, what if he comes out and stinks up the joint, and then what? Then we're talking about, oh, well, maybe we should go back to Peyton Manning. I don't want Denver to get in this habit of going week to week saying, should we or shouldn't we? They need to make a decision, and what I think they should do is just go with what is there. Who did you pay to be in this situation? You paid Peyton Manning to be in this situation. See what you can get out of him. If you can't get anything out of him, then it is what it is. But next year, get rid of him, whatever you got to do. But right now, today, I'm saying... just roll with what you got. What was your investment? Your investment was Peyton Manning.
What if Aaron Rodgers? What if the Packers would have never have let go of Favre, and even in those bad years that Favre had, those last 2 years at the end of his career, where he had times just like Peyton, who was undefeated, he kept his team in it. He's good enough. He's elite. He's smarter than the other side. And it's evident that he will win you 9 games a year. But when it's snowing and it's cold, it's going to be really hard for him to wind up that rusty arm and that bad neck and that back and everything that's going on. Where you got a young guy in Brock Osweiler who's been watching that guy, who's been watching Brett Favre. You know what I mean? Look at what Aaron Rodgers did. Aaron Rodgers is now...
Please don't compare the two.
I'm not, but no. But
I get it. You're comparing the situation, and it makes sense.
And you know what? You know what people were doing at that time? They were comparing Steve Young to Aaron Rodgers. And I'm not saying there's not situations where people aren't making comparisons and it's way wrong. I'm just saying that the possibility's there, right? Okay, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you have a guy who he has started 2 games, right? And he's passed over 300 yards in both games. Peyton's only passed over 300 yards in 2 games. 1 came after a bye. And in the game that Brock Osweiler came in and relieved Peyton in the middle of the third quarter, he threw for more yards than Peyton did in that same game. So I look at it, and he's running the same offense with the same skill guys. You want to win right now. You want to see a Super Bowl or bust.
Absolutely.
John Elway, and he has all the trust in the world in Gary Kubiak, who is his best friend. And Gary Kubiak runs a great offensive system. I said it before about what he did in Baltimore last year was really good, and it showed. It hurt Baltimore this year, on top of the injuries and whatnot. And their defense wasn't as strong because their offense was doing pretty well. But Kubiak last year had them playing really well. They were up 14 points in a divisional round game in New England last year, and that was Kubiak was a huge part of that offense, and he was a big reason why Joe Flacco was playing the way he was. So I just look at it in the sense of he can get Brock Osweiler to play to a level that he is playing over the last, over the games that we've seen. If he can do that consistently, they're a legitimate shot to win the Super Bowl. Where I look at them, if they go to New England and they play if Peyton Manning's playing Tom Brady in New England in January and it's even a little bit of cold or a little bit of snow, I'm going Tom Brady every single time.
I think Brock Osweiler take Brock over Peyton when it comes down to versus Tom Brady.
Yeah, really? I think if we're standing in 10-degree weather in their stories,
you're going Brock.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know why? You know why? Because I trust Brock's arm. I trust his movement. I trust him to be able to get out of the pocket a little quicker. I trust him to be able to release that ball. I trust him to be able to get the ball about 30, 40 yards. Yeah. They have the athletes on their team. All you need is a guy. But all you need is a guys to get them get those athletes to the ball. And right now, Peyton Manning, yes, he was doing that, but he was doing it with 5 and 10 yards, and that's what we see. I'm not I was for a long time, and I decided a while back I'm not going to do this. I'm not a guy who knocks Peyton for not getting it done in the playoffs, but I have a reason that he doesn't get it done in the playoffs is because it gets cold. And when he was in the dome a lot, and he lost a couple times, so there's not really an argument to that. But that happens. There's 11 guys on the other side of the ball trying to stop him. You know what I mean? And people just sometimes can't really wrap their mind around that. But anyways, I don't look at it as Peyton's like a choke artist or a failure. I wouldn't start Brock over Peyton because I think that Brock, like, it gives them the better chance as the player. I just think at that moment, and the movement's going to be there, and it's cold, and it's Peyton struggles in that, and he's pretty struggling in that. And I thought that was a big issue when he signed with the Broncos in the first place. I thought that was a really big issue because he never really played well in Foxborough. And that was the most cold he ever played in, really, in the playoffs. I mean, we would all say. So I just kind of look at it as one of those things.
I guess I'm just trying to look at it from, if I was a Denver Broncos fan, I would be looking at it from, I invested in this great Peyton Manning, and I would want to go with that. And I would more so want to invest Brock in the future. So to me, if I was a fan of Denver today, I would say, go with Peyton. This is what we hired him for. Go out there. Go do the damn thing. I know you've been struggling. You've been horrific, honestly, but go see what happens. This is what's going to happen. And like I said, we're going to be playing this game from week to week to week of, okay, should we or shouldn't we? Shouldn't we? I don't want to get in this habit. I don't want Denver to get in this habit of going back and forth with it. Make a decision and stick with it. So I hope whatever their decision is, that they roll with it and they stick to it. Don't go week to week. I don't want to hear this question every week.
I agree with that. And if they go with Peyton Manning, and as long as he's winning and still gets them to the playoffs, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, that was a bad decision, because what? Going with Peyton Manning is never really a bad decision. Even if I think that the other option might be slightly better at the moment, I understand. Sometimes you can't go against that grain. But
it's probably not it's a no-win situation.
Peyton Manning's really smart. He's a smart quarterback. Obviously, we always talk about that. Hopefully, he's watching this and really thinks to himself, like, these guys can do so much more than what I'm using them for, and I'm only really doing this, and I'm really only doing that. And if I can't get this going, I need to figure out how to. I need to figure out how to be able to get these, 30 yards, 40-yard chunks at a time, because that's what was killing New England late in that game. And that's what Brock Osweiler did to Chicago as well.
Absolutely.
Quickly, about New England, because we talked a lot about Denver, all the injuries, Gronk probably only out for a week or two, but it's still a pretty big deal. Because they're fighting for first place in the AFC. Luckily for them, they get my Eagles. We'll start talking about that here in a little bit. But Amendola likely out for the season, right, if I'm not mistaken, and Edelman likely out for the season, if I'm not mistaken. So do you think that was part of the reason why they lost on Sunday, the way everything went down?
I don't want to blame it. No, I don't want to blame it on injuries. No.
I mean, it's still Tom Brady.
It's still Tom Brady. We can get into a whole 45-minute conversation alone on the officiating and... Speaking
of not blaming injuries for a loss, right? Because this game was out of hand before he got injured. Tony Romo.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the only thing I can say, because A, I woke up sick on Thanksgiving, which was horrible, and then B,
I was sick by the end after this game.
And then B, when I was starting to feel better, the Eagles kicked off, so you know how that goes. I start feeling sick all over again. Anyways,
that was great.
What was even better was Luke Kuechly. Okay, I just want to say this was the best part of my Thanksgiving. I'm certain of this moment.
Go ahead.
Luke Kuechly picks the ball off, right?
Go ahead.
He runs down the field, okay, and he gets to the goal line.
I know the game. Go ahead.
And when he looks over, and I was actually watching the game with some people, and when he gets to the goal line, he looks over and he sees it's Tony Romo, and I was thinking, is he going to lower his shoulder? Nope. He gives him a stiff arm to the noggin. Boop! Right to the head. It was fantastic. And Romo fell off of a stiff arm to the head.
Yeah, he did. I mean, at least he left for it.
Yeah, no, he didn't go for it. He gave up at the last moment, and Kuechly said, well, this is what you get for not going for it. Boom!
Well, what is he going to do?
He basically punched him, right? Like, that's basically just like a boop! Like a little, you know what I mean? It was. Because it was a shot. Could have broke his forearm on the helmet. It was nice, though. It was awesome to watch. Scored a touchdown. I had the Panthers defensive fantasy, so that was even better. But I'm honestly not going to make fun of Romo or the Cowboys because, A, Romo lost the game before he got hurt. Okay, so that was a Romo debacle. B, my Eagles are terrible, and they got absolutely smothered.
They always will be terrible.
We'll talk about it at a different moment.
That's Chip Kelly for you. That's a whole nother 45-hour conversation.
And last.
So
Tony Romo getting hurt. I don't, that. I mean, that sucks.
A lot of people say, he should have. A lot of people were saying Tony Romo should have stayed out. I don't.
Hold on.
I mean, I don't
Hold
necessarily
on,
agree with that.
hold on. A lot of people like.
You may be one of those people. Okay, congratulations. Was that one for you?
I'm just throwing it out there that I did
you
say
you were one of
before
those
the
people?
Miami game that yes, while I think that
They
it
should've
gives
stayed
them a
out.
chance
Blah, blah, blah.
and all that, I
Right.
think that it wasn't the risk wasn't worth the reward. He was your oldest player, and if you really want to move forward, what did I say about your draft pick? What did I say about the draft pick?
The draft pick. You know what?
He can help them
yes,
next year.
let's
Draft
talk about
picks
the
in
draft pick.
early or top 10 draft picks always help. They can legitimately step in and help a team right away.
I'm glad you brought up the draft pick because I don't even want to talk about this game. Let's talk about the draft pick because all I've been hearing since Tony has gone down and out again.
Matt Castle ain't winning nothing. He proved that once.
I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the draft pick, which everybody's saying, oh, Cowboys should give up his time to draft a quarterback. You know what Jerry Jones did today? He came out and said Tony Romo is going to be the quarterback for the next 3 to 4 years potentially. I think that's a little bit out there, but I agree in the sense that I'm not ready to necessarily give up on Tony Romo. You gave him this money. That's what trips me out about. This is what trips me out about fans is that they always say, "Well, just get rid of him. Just get rid of this player. Let's get this player." Who are you gonna get though? Are you gonna draft a quarterback? Who are you gonna draft?
No. Let me just put
You gonna go with everybody said, "Oh, we should have got Manziel." Yeah, how's that working out for Cleveland?
No, I understand that, but this is what I'm saying. You can't just. You're gonna have to figure out a quarterback situation at one point. Romo was undrafted. Okay.
Hello.
B, did I not just bring up the Favre situation and the Rodgers situation? Rodgers was drafted in the second round. He was a guy who was good, had skill, had talent, but he was under the radar. And that's basically what I think that the Cowboys should do. They should draft a guy right now, okay? No. Draft a 23. Why? Why can't he sit behind Romo? Hey, you know what? Say Jerry Jones is right and he does play for 5 years, which we all know is not going to happen. But let's just say
there's no prospects out there that are worth going out there and getting a first round draft pick for.
That's what I'm saying. Aaron Rodgers wasn't picked in the first round. Tom Brady wasn't picked in the first round. These were guys that were picked supposed to develop behind somebody.
Look, I feel like
Bledsoe and Brett Favre.
I think we should potentially look at drafting a quarterback in the first round. The problem with that is
second or third round.
Well, whatever fucking round.
What if you have a top 10 pick? You can go pick up a defensive lineman or a linebacker or a safety or whatever you need.
Whatever round it is, I think they should draft a quarterback. The problem with that is all the baggage that's going to come with that. Because as soon as Romo fucks up, then we're talking about when's the rookie's chance? I don't want that type of attention, which is exactly part of the reason why I didn't want Manziel because
Rip the Band-Aid off, man. Give him a couple years in the locker room behind Romo. Let him watch Romo over a couple years. Let him learn what Romo has overall basically in his overall throughout his career been in the top 10 category, which is I would call elite, okay? And not maybe the entire career, but he has a span where he's been a top 10 quarterback. And,
yeah, absolutely.
And he can get it done. You can get a guy who can come in and watch him and watch how he works, just like Aaron Rodgers did for Brett Favre, just like Steve Young did for Joe Montana. I'm not saying it's the same situation and the same guys, but that's how you want to develop players and quarterbacks and people in your system. Tony Romo came up through the Cowboys system. You can get a guy now you can kind of start something. Look at what the Green Bay Packers are doing. You know what they're going to do? They've drafted a couple quarterbacks over the last 3 or 4 years just in case something happens with Rodgers. This is what those kind of teams do. Those teams that always have consistent quarterbacks. I know that the Colts fell into it twice, but there is those franchises that keep it going for a while. Speaking of that game, the last undefeated team played in it, the Carolina Panthers. How do you feel about them?
Do I feel like they're the best team in the league? Yeah, let's talk about that. Do I feel like the Carolina Panthers are the best team in the league?
Well, I asked you about
if I look at the record, then yes, absolutely, and they're undefeated. That's cool, and I get it.
I asked you about this with Denver and New England, because who is the better team? Is New England the better team, or is Denver the better team? We never answered that question. Still probably Denver, but you still pick a New England a game, and that's what I'm saying.
On paper, I would say on paper, Denver has a better team.
So right now,
who would I put my money on? Tom Brady over the Denver Broncos.
Denver's up here, but you have New England and Carolina who are playing up here. They're obviously the number 1 and number 2 team in the league right now, right?
If I'm talking about a one-on-one matchup, I'm going with New England. Just because of Tom Brady. I mean, I could be a hater, I could be a this or that, but at the end of the day, I understand Carolina has a great defense, they have a great offensive line, they have a decent quarterback that just gets it done. We talk about it all the time. I'm tired of fucking talking about it. But if you're asking me in a one-on-one showdown, what's going to happen between Tom Brady and Cam Newton? I'm saying Tom Brady. I don't care what the record is. Hell, I think Arizona has a better team than Carolina. I think.
But I think Carolina could beat Arizona.
That's debatable, but
Carolina's defense is legit.
I agree with that. I feel like, I'd probably say, honestly, I'd say Carolina's my second or third best team in the league, behind either New England and or Arizona. If not, I'd give Carolina the second spot, but I will not put them number one.
Okay.
Just the way it is. If I'm a hater, I'm a fucking hater.
I'm excited to see how it all shuffles out. Speaking of shuffling out, the NFC North is almost figuring itself out right now.
I don't understand.
The Vikings took a step forward,
Green Bay.
step forward, or was it Green Bay taking a step backwards? It was both, right? Listen.
Because of what? What was that? One for you and wait, what's this one about to come my way? Because what did I say about Green Bay before the season even started?
Absolutely. You said about Nelson. That's one for you, but you can't. You've already
That's
put your
one for
quarter in your token. You cashed that out once.
And that's okay. I'm gonna cash it out again.
Okay. Well,
because it still holds true. Because every week now, everybody say, "Well, Aaron Rodgers." When I listen to all the sports talk shows, all they talk about now with Green Bay is that, well, Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't have any help up there. He's really missing Joey Nelson. What did I say before the season started? That exact thing. Granted, when they started out, they looked like they weren't missing him, and they weren't. But now we're getting to a point where
talked about
they are missing him.
my feelings for Aaron Rodgers on here before.
As far as what?
About him as the leader, and not just because as the athlete, as the skill player, Aaron Rodgers best in the league. But the reason I would never put him over Tom Brady is because I hear things like he doesn't treat his offensive lineman the best, and he's always throwing McCarthy under the bus, and he's very in his interviews very nonchalant, and he's very. All these players have arrogance to them. All of them. Okay, every single one of these players have arrogance to them. Especially quarterbacks. Cam Newton will dance in your face because he's arrogant, and
that's cool.
That's why people don't like it. But at the same time, as he says, stop him. Anyways, moving on. Aaron Rodgers. There's a line, and I think he shows over that line a little more. I'm not saying that Cam Newton would stop and give me the time of day, or Tom Brady, actually, better example, would stop. I don't think that Tom Brady would stop and give me the time of day, but I know for a fact that Aaron Rodgers wouldn't stop and give me the time of day. And you can't perceive that, and you can't go over that. Tom Brady's giving, and I know people laugh because it's Uggs, but like Rolexes, whatever. Tom Brady's giving things like his endorsements away to all of his offensive linemen and all the time, where I feel like everything I hear about Rodgers is the exact opposite. He doesn't have a good relationship with the coaches, doesn't have a good relationship with his offensive linemen. He blames a lot in his press conferences, and he needs to start taking responsibility as the quarterback. You have the skills. You are the player. You're supposed to, and I agree with you, losing Nelson is a big deal. But at the same time, you are Aaron Rodgers. You're supposed to be that guy. You're supposed to be the number one player in the league. You're supposed to be the best quarterback in the league. You were voted the number one player in the league. You need to step up and take your team. You can't lose the division. Not to the Vikings. You can't lose to Detroit.
They do have a better defense.
You cannot lose to Chicago at home.
Chicago. On
Thanksgiving while Brett Favre is getting his number retired and Bart Starr is in the house. The only two living Hall of Famers, because Brett Favre will be in the Hall of Fame from the Packers. The only two living from that long list were in the house, and you lost. And he made a couple of plays, but the play, I don't know what he was doing. And listen, that's reading coverages and maybe receivers running wrong routes. I'm not blaming that play on him. But overall, he needs to be able to step it up and do something. And right now, practice, I can see it not being fiery, and it needs to be fiery. And it seems like he's one of those guys who's just like, well, you're not doing your job, and that's your fault. And, you know.
All right, just a couple points. I think it was actually, if it wasn't last year, I think it was the year before. I believe Aaron Rodgers had bought his offensive line iPads or something.
Well, that's good. I hope so.
Whatever.
But I hear
whatever it was, it was either last year or the year before.
Good.
I think it was all. It doesn't matter. I don't care at this point. Fuck that, it doesn't matter.
But it's
football-wise, let's talk football. We're
yes.
talking football. I don't care what.
No, I care because it's leadership and things like that.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Okay, and that's good. And as long as he has his relationships with them,
that's cute. Hug it out, kiss it out, boys. Adorable. Anyway, moving on. But the fact of the matter is, you can't lose at home to Detroit. I mean, Chicago's doing a little better than Detroit at least, but really, you can't lose to Detroit at home. That's absolutely disgusting. But then, when you look at Jay Cutler's record against Green Bay, what was it, like 3 and... I don't remember the exact numbers, but I know it was absolutely horrible, and Jay Cutler has not succeeded in his career against Green Bay.
He's never beaten Green Bay in Green Bay until...
And what happened? So that's twice now. 2 divisional games that you just completely blew, and now Minnesota's in a position where they could potentially win. And now we're looking at Green Bay. Do they get the wild card? Do they get the wild card spot, or do they actually, pull out in the end? I don't know. On paper, right now today, I'm going Minnesota over Green Bay because of their defense, because Adrian Peterson's playing like a complete beast, and because their quarterback doesn't make the mistakes to cost his team the game.
You said about their defense. That's my favorite part of them. I love watching Adrian Peterson and their offensive line, but I'm not a big fan of Adrian Peterson. But Teddy Bridgewater, like you said, he has a lot of incompletions, but he's getting it done and he's making the right pass at the right time. And
he's not costing his team the game. That's all
they started to bring the game in a little more, and now that he's completing that, they started to bring it back out a little bit again. And you can see what he did against Atlanta last week. It was out a little bit, and they scored some longer touchdowns, and it looked good. And then Peterson was a monster at times, but their defense is really... I mean, I love watching their defense play. They're shutting people down. They got to be able to now, keep this division lead, keep Green Bay at bay.
Absolutely. It's going to come down to the wire, but right now, today, I'm going Minnesota.
I like what they're doing. Now, the last topic you want to cover, you wanted to bring this up because I am a big Johnny Manziel fan. Not looking good.
Johnny football. Johnny who's buying shots, Manziel.
Do you think he'll get another chance with the Browns?
God, you would think, but honestly, considering how
he was playing well.
But considering how it all went down, I'm going to say no, just because it's a level of immaturity, it's a level of disrespect on his part.
The 2 things that I have a problem with.
I don't see it happening.
The first thing I have a problem with, the most important thing I have a problem with, is that he lied. He lied to the organization about it after they already saw the video, and I think he told his friends to lie about it.
Yeah, so, apparently he told them, "You tell them that this was an old video. It was at this party." After he had promised his team that I'm not going to do anything during this bye week. What do? He's in the camera like this with a bottle talking about Really, dude? Really?
Here's my thing.
He has a problem, and he hasn't owned up to it. And unfortunately, he's at a spot where if he doesn't get his life in check,
that's right.
He's not. Not only is he not going to have a job with Cleveland, he's not going to get a job anywhere if he keeps acting the way he does because he has a problem and he's a risk.
He might. Here's the thing. Every other player is out there doing the same thing. The difference is that he went to rehab last year, so now they have to save face and they have to cover it and they have to make it look like he's changing and. He went to rehab, and the minute you say rehab, no matter if you don't have a problem or if you do have a problem, if you're going in there to save face, then you're going to go out there and you're going to want to drink a couple times, but you can't go out there and drink like that, even if it was just a cover. But if you did have a problem, then that's a whole separate issue, and that's scary, and that's not good for Johnny Manziel.
What?
I think it's the other one. I think it was the Browns kind of said, "Listen, Johnny, you go into rehab and you say it's for alcohol and you try to, get your life back together or whatever and save face, and now every time he goes out, every time he goes to the club, every time he's drinking, every time he got a bottle in his hand, people are judging and people are saying that." I hope that's more the case than the other one, because the other one is he's an alcoholic.
You're giving him way too much credit on this. The fact of the matter is Johnny Manziel has
he's
a problem.
He's young with money, and I know how the NFL works, and I know they were digging him a hole, and they were trying to bring him back out of that hole. The media was burying him with his partying. The media was and they were trying to make him look like a new man. So if you say that he went to rehab, it looked like a new man. I'm not saying that's the truth. I'm just saying that's potentially the possibility.
I don't think it has anything to do with how the media has been portraying him as somebody that's going to rehab and he's going to be better. But my problem with Manziel is that not once has he come out and owned any of his actions whatsoever, and that's my biggest problem with him. And that's why I say that no, he has a problem. He has an addiction, and he needs to fix himself. But in order to do that, he needs to first say, you know what? No, I need help. Going to rehab, whatever the hell the reason was. I've heard drugs, I've heard alcohol, I've heard both. Nobody knows what it actually is except Johnny and maybe the Cleveland Browns staff. But at this point, it doesn't matter what it was. The bottom line is that you lied to the organization, said you weren't going to do this, you weren't going to do that, and then you flaunted it in their face, regardless of what it was. So now, who would want to? If I'm an employer, why the hell do I want to hire you? Because you're a risk. That's all you are.
McCown played well on Monday. Didn't get the win, but he didn't play horrible. So that's something for them to move forward and look good on. I mean, I'm not saying that Johnny's the answer to their problems, but he looked okay, and I'm with you. You need to figure out what's going on off the field, get that straightened out. But that's been the case since he's been in the league. That was the case before he was in the league, and I think it was a little too much before he was in the league. But now here he is. He's not,
You know what it looks like? It looks like Cleveland made another Cleveland decision, and I'm glad I'm glad Dallas didn't make that move.
But all of their other first-round picks have worked out pretty well in the last couple of years. So,
except the quarterbacks.
Yes.
And everybody said, "Oh, Jerry Jones, go with Johnny." Yeah, and you remember, I said I don't want Johnny. Why? Because I didn't want his media attention. Never mind his baggage, and now the baggage is what is driving the Cleveland Browns to stay where they're at.
So Dwight, moving on, we're gonna go right into our picks here. Last week, I went 8-8. What'd you do?
I actually did a lot better. I did 10-6 last week.
Okay, well look at you. Now my overall record is 105-70.
Oh, you still got that lead on me. I'm 99-76.
Okay.
Ugh, 76ers. Ugh.
Yeah.
That stank. I need to fix that. Anyway. that's Okafor number.
Okay, moving on. So Thursday, Green Bay is going to Detroit. Basically, almost in a must-win for Green Bay. Not a must-win, but a must-win to keep the division.
Yeah.
They can probably still win the wild card even if they don't win the division. But going to Detroit, it's a short week, but it's not a short week for either of them because they both had off, or they both played last Thursday.
It's the same.
So that's interesting. But anyways, who are you taking?
I'm going Green Bay in this revenge game. I feel like they have to get this revenge at this point, and I think they're going to do just that. Especially it's getting down to the wire. We've been talking about, at Thanksgiving and beyond is when teams need to get serious and the schedule really matters. And I think it's getting to that point. If Green Bay wants to win a division, they absolutely have to beat Detroit at this point.
I'm picking Green Bay as well. They're more skilled and more talented. Their defense is better, and it's Aaron Rodgers, and I know he just said he needs to step up and whatnot. This is the game. This is going to show if he's really going to be able to do that and help them moving forward. Because if not, the Minnesota Vikings can know on Sunday, that they can have a 2-game lead. I mean, that would just be mind blowing. Anyways, moving on. San Francisco going to Chicago. Who are you taking?
This really breaks my heart because I can't stand Jay Cutler whatsoever, but I'm going with the lesser of the two evils. And Chicago's been playing better overall the past several weeks in comparison to the 49ers, but it just sickens me. But I'm just going with Chicago.
I really almost went with Blaine Gabbert because he looked good over the last couple of weeks. Got a win, but I actually am taking Chicago because Cutler's played. He's been played a lot better than you're giving him credit for, and their whole team has actually played a lot better.
They've played better the past couple weeks.
They're not like in it or anything, but they're almost in it or anything. It's kind of odd. They're right there. If they have a good after Thanksgiving season,
they'd have to probably win out.
They're right there, though. No, the NFC is really close. I think they're only a game back. Anyways, moving on. I'm picking Chicago. Moving on. Baltimore going to Miami. Miami's struggling, just fired their offensive coordinator. I'm a big fan of Tannehill. Matt Schaub looked good. It's going to be a short week, and Baltimore's on the road. Who are you taking?
I'm going with Miami.
You taking Miami? I'm actually taking Baltimore only because Baltimore keeps, even with all these losses, even with the injuries, even with it seems like a bad season, they're still fighting
They always kind of hang
hard.
in there.
Yeah, I mean, I like Baltimore. I like their mentality.
Unfortunately, Joe Flacco is around, so I don't trust in that.
No, I completely understand and agree. The thing that I don't trust, and it's not like Baltimore's defense is any good, so it might be masked if Miami does score a lot of points. Mm-hmm. They just fired their offensive coordinator. So I'm going to pick Baltimore because in those situations, usually the team that's not in that situation wins. But like I said, it's a short week. It's on the road, so you might get that one on that. The Giants technically not on the road, but on the road the Jets technically not on the road, but on the road playing the Giants. The G-men are the home team. Well, who are you taking?
The gross.
This is interesting. We don't get to see this a lot, the Giants and the Jets playing each other, so it's pretty, no, you don't, I don't know, I like it.
You're really interested in this game?
I just find it...
really interested in this game?
I like that aspect of it. Moving on. Who are you picking?
God. Anything out of the NFC East at this point is a complete abomination, honestly. I'm not going with the Giants. I've been saying for the past several weeks that the Giants should have closed the deal weeks ago, and then last week they stunk up the joint again. I'm going with the Jets.
Fitzpatrick had 3 touchdowns last week. Listen, he's coming on. Their wide receivers are coming on. We all know about their defense and their solid cornerbacks. I'm taking the Jets as well because the Giants, they struggled. They got into gear late, but it was against Washington. I mean, it was kind of, I don't know. I was taken back from it. Anyways, Jacksonville playing Tennessee. Mariota not struggling. Tennessee struggling. Should have got that win last week. That's not their fault. The NFL has actually apologized for it. It was Tennessee. It was their win. I mean, it was their win. They get the ball back and knee. For people who didn't see it, it's hard to explain. Jacksonville, Tennessee, who are you taking?
I'm going Tennessee. I think they're going to get that revenge game from a couple weeks ago. I think it was like 2 weeks ago, the Thursday night game. I think they should have won that game and they blew it in the end. I think they're going to revenge us at home.
I'm taking Jacksonville. I like Blake Bortles. I like what Allen Robinson's doing. Their defense, it is what it is. But I don't think Blake Bortles is a long-term solution, but I think he's riding away right now and he's doing okay, and he's got talent on the outside. They're trying to build a team. He might be the centerpiece for it. Tennessee's just a step behind that right now. Seattle going to a hot Minnesota. I think they only have one loss in their last 6 or 7 weeks or something like that. But anyways, Seattle had a big win against Pittsburgh. Yeah,
and I had that one, surprising.
Right, so...
And Jimmy Graham's out for the year.
He is out for the year.
That's unfortunate.
That is very unfortunate.
But you know what? I'm still going with them. I'm still going with Seattle.
Really? See, here's the thing. Seattle hasn't traveled well this year. I'm going to take Minnesota. Minnesota's played really well at home.
I feel like Minnesota, they're not gonna win out, so I mean...
I agree that
they're due to lose.
I agree that they're not going to win out and that they're due to lose, but they just lost to Green Bay 2 weeks ago. They're playing some good football. Adrian Peterson is a bruiser, and that you need to be able to run on Seattle to be that team, to be one of those teams to beat them, and then you open it up on the outside. I think they can. I think they can run on Seattle. And so I have them going. I think their defense can stop Seattle's offense, though. I like watching Russell Wilson. Losing to Jimmy Graham's a big deal because he was just finding him. Rawls has been playing pretty good. And even Fred Jackson, when he's gotten the ball, he's made some yards. So I'm taking Minnesota. Moving on. Houston going to Buffalo. Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, and I'm going Buffalo.
You're going Buffalo.
Granted, Houston's on a 4-game winning streak. Congratulations. They're doing a lot better than what we
Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, more power to him. That's awesome for them, I guess. I don't necessarily think he's the future, but I'm still going Buffalo. At this rate, Buffalo needs a hope to get a wild card berth, and in order to stay in that hunt, they need to get a win like this over Houston, which Buffalo was a team that we were talking about having that potential wild card berth. So in order to get that, they need to get this win.
I agree. I think Houston actually is in the running to win their division, and if not, I think they can get a wild card spot. They're playing some good football right now. And I'm going to ride with them. I'm taking Houston, Arizona, St. Louis, Case Keenum starting over Nick Foles still.
Oh, St. Louis has completely fallen off from earlier in the year when we were really excited and hyped about them. I'm going with Arizona. This isn't even a question for me at this point.
They're still playing really good defense and they're almost in games. I'm taking Arizona as well. Arizona's playing great football.
Yeah,
it's hard to go against
St. Louis just isn't closing the deal at this point. It is what it is.
Atlanta struggling, just bobbling everything. Tampa Bay on the uprise. I know they kind of struggled a little bit this week, but overall they played really good football this year for being as young as they are with Jameis being their quarterback. Who are you taking, Atlanta or Tampa Bay?
I'm absolutely going to regret this because Atlanta has lost 5 of the last 6 games, but I'm going with Atlanta.
I'm taking Tampa. I'm going to ride with Jameis.
Atlanta, like I said, Atlanta has lost 5 of the last 6, and there's a lot of talk about should they sit Matty Ice. I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, their backup is Sean Renfree. I don't even know how to say his name. Like, really, that's what we're talking about. It goes back to the whole, get rid of this quarterback so we can get somebody else. And then who do you go with?
I don't think they're going to sit Matt Ryan, but I do think that Tampa Bay will be able to squeak out their win. Their defense is playing a little better overall lately, too. Cincinnati going to Cleveland. McCown played a little better last week. Short week.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati's rolling.
Cincinnati. Manziel can have a shot to the loss.
I'm taking Cincinnati in this one as well. Kansas City going to Oakland. Who are you taking? Kansas City playing well. The probably the sneakiest team in the NFL. They're going to make the playoffs because their schedule's not that hard on the back end.
I'm going Kansas City. They're on a 5-game win streak themselves, and Oakland has completely fallen off the past several weeks and not what they were. Again, they're another team that has not played as well as they were. But before that,
I know what you're saying.
They weren't playing that spectacular.
I'm actually taking Oakland. I want to see their offense. I like the way their offense has exploded, and I think Kansas City. I don't know. These are just kind of those games that Andy Reid always doesn't overlook, but overlooks. Denver taking on San Diego.
You know what's ridiculous about this game is that last week was the first week I did go with San Diego when you always gave me shit for going with San Diego, and they fucking won after I did pick them.
Yep.
And guess what? I'm going with Denver.
I'm also picking Denver.
And if I regret it, then I'll never go against San Diego again.
No, you shouldn't regret it. Denver's playing really well right now. Speaking of another team playing really well right now, Carolina going to New Orleans.
Should I be that guy? I'm telling you what, Carolina isn't going undefeated. They're either going to lose to New Orleans or they're going to lose to Atlanta or both. This week, I will give them the win. I will go with Carolina this week. I'll tell you what, I will not be surprised if Drew Brees wins, and that has nothing to do with being a hater or whatever. That has everything to do with Drew Brees at home against a division rival. He steps up to the plate. In week 3, they only lost by 3 points, so it's not out of the ordinary if New Orleans wins this game. So y'all need to get that out your head.
I'm not disagreeing with you at all. Overall, I think that Carolina is one of the most disrespected, undefeated teams that I've ever seen, and I think that that's keeping them a little more focused.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's going to take a really great game from a good team to beat them. I think New Orleans has the offense to keep up with them. Their defense they're going to get pushed up and down the field. We'll see. Absolutely. In a shootout, you never can count Drew Brees out. I'm not against it. I'm just saying, looking at that Carolina defense, they're going to have to travel well.
Correction, that Carolina game at home this year, week 3, was only 5 points.
So. Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of a game that will be more than 5 points, not only
a little more than 5 points, yeah.
A lot. Philadelphia, New England. Now, Dwight, this is my birthday weekend. My birthday is Saturday. So Sunday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
As you should.
I get the pleasure. I'm going to actually go to Philly on Saturday. The Flyers play at night and the Sixers play at 1 o'clock.
That's a win for you.
I'm pretty excited for it.
So you can see your teams lose in person anyway. Go ahead.
That's okay. I get the pleasure the next day to come home and watch the greatest quarterback of my lifetime that I can actually, see and recollect and all that.
Right.
But he's playing my team.
You get to see the greatest quarterback of your lifetime beat your Eagles because I'm going with the greatest quarterback of our lifetime over your Eagles. Sorry, happy birthday, bruh. Welcome to my life. My boys lost too.
Do I get a pass on my birthday if I pick the Eagles?
What do you mean a pass?
Like for you not to be picking up and walking out this room or something like that.
No.
The Eagles need it.
You picked the Eagles. I'm just gonna laugh at you.
The Eagles need it, but
right.
I'm not picking them. I'm gonna go with New England, even with all the injuries. I don't want Chip Kelly to necessarily leave. We'll see what happens in that situation. That's something we'll talk about at
another
day.
Get into that.
At another
Stay
time.
tuned, folks.
Unless he just ups and picks up before that.
This is a quick show tonight. Stay tuned for the
Moving
future.
on, Indianapolis is playing Pittsburgh in the 8 o'clock time slot. Matt Hasselbeck potentially versus Landry Jones potentially.
Landry Jones. Regardless of who the quarterback is on Sunday night, I'm going with Pittsburgh. I feel like Matt Hasselbeck, he's had a decent run, but it's a situation where they're going to lose at some point. So I'm going Pittsburgh at home. They need us winning, and they're going to get it.
I'm taking Indianapolis. I like the way Hasselbeck's playing. I don't
You
like
go
the way
with the
Pittsburgh.
85-year-old quarterback.
I don't like the way Pittsburgh defense is playing. As good as they were overall, they played horrible on Sunday. We'll see. I'm taking Indianapolis.
Want to talk about a game that's going to make me throw up?
Monday night.
I don't even want to overanalyze this. This is going to make me completely sick. I'm going with Washington.
Kirk Cousins.
There's no reason for me to take Dallas at this point.
You like that?
No, I don't like that at all, actually. But I'm trying to be realistic here and objective. I'm going with Washington just because we don't have a quarterback and our backups have looked completely ridiculous all year. I'm going Washington. They're rolling. I guess you can call it that. I'm going with Washington. God, I don't want to analyze this anymore.
I'm going to pick the probably, unfortunately, unless the Eagles or Giants turn around, NFC champs, the Washington Redskins.
Doesn't that make you sick?
It's kind of weird to talk about. But
would you rather the Cowboys win? Honestly, the division. Would you stop fucking clicking that? I need to get you like one of those fucking like squeezy balls. Let's go. Alright, I got you. I'm dead serious. I can get you one. Honestly, if you had to pick, would you rather what's the worst of the Eagles? Would you rather worst of the Eagles? What's the worst of the evils? Would you rather the Cowboys win a division or the fucking Redskins win? Because honestly, if I had to pick the worst of the two, I would probably say I'd rather the Redskins win a division than the Eagles. Just how much I hate the Eagles as a Cowboys fan, and that's just me being real.
I would rather see Washington win over Dallas anytime. But
fair enough. I don't fault you with that. I'm
Kirk
just
Cousins. It's really hard to.
Yeah, you like that?
No, I don't.
You
it's
like
weird.
that?
It's odd.
I don't like anything about this division or this game. Washington, we both got them.
Yep. One last thing, we ran through this show. You wore the Kobe Bryant shirt.
He said the bean.
Yep, absolutely. From Lower Marion High School out of Philadelphia, playing for the Los Angeles Lakers
went
his
to France.
whole career.
And then he went to France. We get that out of Philly.
Well, no,
I know the story. Go ahead, tell the
his
story.
father decided to go coach over in France, and then he moved back to Philadelphia to play high school because he wanted to come back to Philadelphia and play basketball because he loves Philadelphia. Moving on. I don't think I would have ever, when I was younger, been sad to see the day that Kobe Bryant retired, but I'm sad watching him play over the last couple of years, and I'm even more sad to know that, its career's coming to an end. I know it has to, and I know it needs to, and I was on the train before the season saying it should probably be it.
Yeah, I don't fault you for that.
Kobe did it in only Kobe's way. He wrote a poem.
I actually really like the poem, but
a lot of people would call it arrogant, but
how is it arrogant?
It's just Kobe. It's Kobe.
It's arrogant because he actually has a mind,
It's
and
Kobe.
he's actually intellectual.
I
He
like that
actually
he did
knows
it right
how
before
to.
the Sixers game. I like that he did it. His first road game was in Philadelphia.
Even though that it came out that he told Jordan this summer.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
That this was it.
Yeah.
We haven't talked a whole lot about the NBA other than the preview show.
Yep.
But we will be getting more into the NBA.
Yes.
But we definitely wanted to touch base on it because I'm a Lakers fan, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm a big Kobe Bryant fan.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like Kobe a lot. So.
Honestly, yeah, when it was this past Sunday that he made this announcement, like an hour. Well, I guess it was like 2 hours before the Sunday Night Football game, and the moment it was crazy that I went on my Facebook and I have him on my Facebook as a like or whatever.
Yeah.
And I caught it 9 minutes after it was posted
wow.
on Facebook,
Yeah.
and all the headline said was "Dear Basketball," and I knew right away. And I opened it, I read
over.
it completely broke my heart.
Yeah.
It was crazy because this is like the first time that I can recall a sports figure like calling it quits and me being like, damn, like I don't even like I'm still like I didn't want to watch football anymore. I didn't even really watch the Sunday Night Football game.
You watch Kobe.
I was watching, interviews and people talking about him.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to react, like, and I'm still like, damn, like, because here's the thing, a lot of people don't seem to understand, and we live on the East Coast, we live in Pennsylvania, you're a Philly guy.
Yes, absolutely.
But, and
it's hard for you to catch him as much.
But no, it's not even that. That's not even what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is that I became such a fan of basketball, one, because of Jordan, but Jordan was more so when I was too young to really appreciate. Like, he introduced me to some things, and I remember bits and pieces. I remember the flu game, the poison, whatever the hell you want to call it, that game. I remember bits and pieces of Jordan at that age, but after Jordan left, I went right to Kobe. It was that, what was that, N60? He had an N64 game, Kobe something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It was like 98, it came out.
The
year before he won the finals against the Pacers. That's when I became a fan of Kobe, because I was like, because everybody was saying, this is the new Jordan, this is going to be Jordan.
Yeah.
So I went straight from Jordan to being a fan of Kobe, and by default, I became a Lakers fan.
Yeah.
So from my fandom in 98 until now, 2015, I've been a Lakers fan, and Kobe has been a part of it. So the fact now that he's gone, it's like, damn.
It's a new era.
It's like, I'm not even at that point. It's like, damn, like obviously I'm still going to be a Lakers fan. That goes without question. Some people are like, oh, so who are you going to cheer for now? No, I'm going to cheer for Lakers because by default, he made me a fan of the Lakers.
Listen, Allen Iverson is the only reason I picked up basketball. He was a really good basketball player in Philadelphia. My father just wasn't a big basketball fan. Just wasn't his sport. I picked up on Allen Iverson. It actually, now my dad's interested. He watches Sixers, and even he watches college basketball. He watches, he's a big Notre Dame fan. But anyways, like Allen Iverson, without Allen Iverson, and I remember the day that he got traded, and it's probably that same feeling. I was in high school, and it was heartbreaking to know that, he wasn't going to put on that Sixers uniform the next night. Well, he obviously had the whole holdout thing going on situation. But anyway, just knowing that he was going. Right, no, I know, but at that point, right, and it wasn't the same, and I thought I would never see him put that uniform back on. It was cool to see him put the uniform back on, but as you said, it wasn't the same. No. And it was for a very short time. So, but yeah, no, I understand and I agree, and I hope that he played inspired. I know that against the Sixers. So, and I hope that he plays inspired the rest of the season. Because I want to see a little bit. I know we're not going to get a lot of, but I want to see a little bit of vintage Kobe. I know he also airballed a shot against the Sixers. So
that's an unnecessary shot. He's been airballing a lot of shots, dude. He's been shooting like 30% from 3-point land. Like it.
I want to see him get to like 33% behind the three. I want to shoot over 40.
I don't care about the numbers. I want to see.
And I want to see him average like 18.
What you know? What?
I don't think he can do that.
I don't want to see no averages. I want to see a couple games here and there when it matters, and I'll give Stephen A. credit because Stephen A. said, "Damn, I wish he would have made this announcement before he went to Madison Square Garden and had that opportunity to not only get that type of love, but to have that type of field." But I don't know the box score that Kobe had in Philly, but the last time that we were paying attention to it, he had a decent amount of points. He had already matched his season average in like the first quarter, so. I don't know. We'll look after the show and see what he actually finished off with. But I feel like he will have those type of games. He's going to have 3, 4, maybe 5. I don't know what the number is. He's going to have moments where it's like, that's the Kobe I remember. He's going to have those moments, and as he should. And now he's at a point where we can actually embrace him because he announced it. He said, you know what, I'm done. And there's we will at some point get into the whole how he was treated by the Lakers organization, blah, blah, blah. And right now is not the time, but I'm just glad as a fan of the Lakers and a fan of Kobe that at this point now we can get the distractions out the way and we can now focus on the great player that he was, which he was the closest thing to Jordan that we've had since Jordan. And I'm sorry, LeBron, but you're not in that conversation for me. You can be after Kobe, but you can say what it is. It's my fandom. But as far as I'm talking straight shooting guard, which LeBron is not. He's a small forward. He could be the greatest small forward of all time. I don't care.
That's fine.
But shooting guard, Jordan, Kobe. Period. And the mindset, that killer mentality, LeBron never had. 1, 2. LeBron is not that type of defender. 3. If you're telling me there's a clutch shot that needs to be made, 9 times out of 10 in their prime, you would probably go with Kobe. And if you said LeBron, it'd probably because how much you slurp him. But
I'd probably pick Kobe to take the shot, but the stat that's going to blow your mind.
I've heard this.
LeBron has more game-winning shots than anybody currently playing in the NBA.
Would you honestly, with your heart, go with LeBron? The game's on the line. You got Kobe and LeBron on your team. Who are you telling to take that shot? It's the Sixers championship. You got Kobe and LeBron. Yeah, holy shit. You actually got one, let alone both of them. You got both of them.
Whoever's open, but honestly, I hope for Kobe.
Who are you giving the ball to?
I hope for Kobe in that situation because he's from Philly. Give it to the hometown kid.
This is why I can't take you Philly fans serious. You can never be objective. So I'm gonna go with the Philly kid. Bottom line is this, Kobe, you've had a hell of a career, 5-time champion. I experienced that. Unlike my Cowboys, I wasn't really able to appreciate those championships. But Kobe, I experienced those championships. I remember every single one of them. I remember the Game 7 against the Celtics.
Yeah, me too.
I remember exactly where I was at.
Moment. Me too.
I remember the Shaq era. I remember hating Kobe at one point.
Me too.
I remember thinking, damn, he needs to leave and we need to keep Shaq. I actually remember thinking
you
that.
You say the Shaq era, and my first thought is when Shaq and Dikembe Mutombo were supposed to go at it for 7 games, and instead they went at it for 4. And it wasn't really they went at it; it was more like Shaq played basketball around Dikembe Mutombo.
No. The greatest thing about that series was Iverson walking over.
Well, I completely agree, but no, you don't have to tell me that. I have it everywhere. I have it postered, plastered everywhere. I have it on phone cases. I have it on T-shirts. I have pictures of it. But
I bet you do, because there's no other moment in Sixer history in your lifetime that is worth noting.
But yeah, I agree. In my lifetime, no, and it's unfortunate. But I love Allen Iverson, and I agree with that. But you want to talk about hating Kobe, man? After those finals, the words he had about Philadelphia. And just the way all that went down.
Yeah.
I hated Kobe Bryant. And I was young. I was young.
What do you want?
No, I was young. So as I got older, I started to I started to appreciate it, and I wasn't too late. I got to enjoy his championships as a fan of him as a player.
He's a great player.
Yeah, and it's fantastic. And I'm a huge Kobe Bryant fan, so I agree. All right.
Thanks, Kobe.
Yeah, well,
appreciate the memories, brother.
Absolutely, I completely agree. Thank you, Kobe Bryant. Well, thank you for watching JD Sports. I'm Jarrett and D. That's Dwight Garfield. You can find our Twitter. You can find all the links and everything else below.